UltraAlgo here, and today is March 18th, 2021. We're going to be looking at a few of the tickers from today. Stock ticker DXF, and then EVOL, TKAT, OCG, LYL, and TAOP. Before we jump into the charts, we're going to look at some of our calls. OCG, we made a short call here. It dropped from $14.74 this morning to $10.19. That's a 30.87% drop. TAOP, we recommended a short opportunity, dropped 18%. TKAT, again, we saw that it was overextended. Opportunity to short dropped 17.88%. LYL, that hit a very important resistance line, and we knew that it was going to have a strong pullback, so recommended a short, 25.80% down. EVOL, recommended a short, dropped 30.6%, and DXF recommended a short, and it dropped 36.09%. Before we jump into trade, the reason why we make a lot of calls around shorting is because we find that a lot of retail investors tend to not sell at the right time. So this just gives you a little bit of an introduction of how the short sellers are potentially looking at opportunities to take up a position to short the stock, and that's usually the same opportunity that most of the investors, that the market makers, are going to be taking when they're selling out of a position. This way they can make profits on the way up, and they can make profits on the way down. So now let's look at the technical charts. So here you can see OCG, and before I jump into the chart, I want to explain what a couple of things that you see on the chart mean. Right? Specifically, you have these ultra bull signals. Those are our proprietary script that shows you how the market makers are specifically trading these securities. And when you see these ultra bull signals, you can set it to a certain degree of how aggressive you want to see this data. But usually when you see an ultra bull signal, it means that it's got a lot of institutional support, and the price is going to move up aggressively over a short amount of time. And then you'll see buy and short signals. Those are the retail trades. Buy being a bullish pattern, short being a bearish pattern. It's important to clarify that this is not a buy and a sell signal. You would enter with bracket orders when you see a buy signal, and you would secure a certain amount of gains. And then from there, you would wait until the next signal, which would be a short. It's always a buy and then a short. And then when you see the short signal, you would have a goal of X amount of gains. And that's the recommended approach. This way you can swing trade and have optimal returns with minimal amounts of risk. So here you can see the security OCG. There was a lot of market makers supporting the price very early on. This was on the 12th. The price drove up, and then on the 15th, they decided to sell off. The price dropped very, very aggressively from $8.50 down to the $5.38 mark. Then they decided to have another run at this. We saw the ultra bull signals at a high of $7.74, and it drove up all the way through to $11.28. Then they decided to sell off. We got the short signal at a low of $9.13, and then it dropped all the way down to a low of $8.61. And then we saw another buy signal where it finally jumped up all the way to $17 and around $17. Then we got our final short signal. This is the call that we made this morning because we saw that it was overextended, and the price dropped down to $9.48. So this is a stock ticker OCG on the 15-minute chart, Oriental Culture Holdings. Next ticker we're going to look at is TKAT, Tao Art Co. This one had a very, very clear pattern to follow. Again, our signals are appearing in real time. This is on the 5-minute chart. And what you can see is that we basically set up our signal for the first bump that we notice. And then once we see that, we'll notice that the patterns always repeat. So that's really what we're banking on. And what we noticed is that right now we've actually got a buy signal, so it's jumping up. At this point, I probably wouldn't buy at this level, especially since it's at a resistance level that's pretty important over here $40. What I would recommend is wait for a short signal and potentially ride this down a little bit. But she does have a nasty history of squeezing. I do not see any ultra bull signals in this last run, so that could be that could mean that it might be out of steam at this point. But definitely keep an eye on it. We don't predict what the price is going to be. We're just trading exclusively on the technical signals. Next ticker that we're going to review is stock ticker EVOL on the 1-minute chart. So this is a more of aggressive time frame. And what you'll notice with this ticker is that it moves up very, very quickly. So in a matter of 3-4 minutes, it's making a move all the way from $2.87 to $4.98. And it's done this pretty aggressively over the last 24 hours or so. So we saw that it was definitely overextended, especially when it hit the $5.44 mark. And at that point, we waited for the signal because it had fired pretty accurately in the past. And that's when we decided to make a short call, and it dropped down very aggressively based off of that. But again, you can see the ultra bull signals, which would be a replacement for a buy, if you will, and then the short signals to ride it down. Right now, it has a buy signal in place, but again, we're watching it closely to see what happens tomorrow. Next ticker is ticker DXF, and here you can actually see it's got a very clear pattern when it runs up and runs down. Right now, it's got a short signal in place. It dropped down pretty aggressively since our short signal at $2.20 all the way down to $1.70. At this point, I'd probably keep watching it to see if a buy signal comes up. But again, if we don't see a signal, we don't trade on it. And it seems like the signal seems to be pretty accurate for the calls over the last few days. Then the next ticker is LYL. Now this one was a little bit more risky. What we focused on for this particular trade was a resistance line, and specifically the resistance line of $2.98. That's a little bit under that. The reason why is because in the past, every single time it passed that mark, it came pulling back down very aggressively, and it did this pretty consistently over the last month. So we saw that today there was no reason for it to have enough supports to move past that resistance line, and at that point we made a short call where the price dropped back very, very, very aggressively here. Last ticker that we're going to review is stock ticker TAOP, and our short call, I don't know how much this one dropped, but it dropped pretty aggressively. I think it was 18-20% from our short call. And right now it's got a buy signal in place, so that's really good news. If you did happen to buy it, at this overextended price, and you're potentially holding some heavy positions there, there is a potential for this to potentially regain some of its footing. But again, we like to trade on the signals, and we usually like to be in and out of these positions. So specifically, that's why we're focusing a lot of shorting lately, because we're seeing that many of these securities are overextended, or they're great swing opportunities. But again, whatever strategy you choose, make sure that you're always securing gains. And goal number one is not to lose money and trade consistently for profits. Now, the last thing I wanted to touch on is thank you very much for watching the technical video. If you're interested in improving your overall trading strategy, we recommend you start a 7-day free trial with UltraAlgo. This tool is designed to help traders easily identify buy and short opportunities across securities listed on all major exchanges. That includes the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, OTC, and all international markets. It's also available for Forex and crypto trading. Start a 7-day free trial at ultraalgo.com.